Senator, nice to see you, sir.
Thank you, Greta.
All right, chemical weapons being used by the president in Syria, a probability, a certainty, or what?
I think it's extreme probability. I'd like to just mention what the British Foreign Office said, quote, "We have limited but persuasive information from various sources showing chemical weapon use in Syria, including sarin." So the British say they have persuasive evidence. The French say the same. The Israeli intelligence says the same. And I'm told that the majority of our intelligence capabilities, as you know, they're different agencies, believe that there's a very strong likelihood that they have it. Could I just make one point? But that's beside the point. 2 years ago, we should have intervened on behalf of the people who are struggling for freedom. But they say, the president said, that this was a red light, the use of chemical weapons. That gave Bashar Assad a green light to massacre, to rape, to torture, to commit, fire Scud missiles on his own people in populated areas. This is a shameful chapter in American history, and I hope that this new revelation of chemical weapons will move the president to do what he should have done 2 years ago. From the statement that's coming out of the White House, I'm not sure they will.
Well, that was going to be my question. Number one, why do you think the president didn't do something a couple of years ago? And number two, is there any likelihood? The president said it was going to be a game changer, although they've not said it's a certainty that there are chemical weapons there. But he said last year there was a game changer if chemical weapons would be used.
Well, if you look carefully at the statements by the White House, they are equivocating and saying, well, but we need to have more information, etc. It sounds like the British didn't. Sounds like the Israelis don't. And the fact is that should it surprise anyone that Bashar al-Assad would be using chemical weapons, he will use anything that he can get his hands on in order to stay in power. Well, so no one should be surprised.
What would be the reason to do something? Humanitarian, preemption, national security? Which one is it?
What Bashar Assad is doing is a desperate effort to hang on to power. And what we should do is what we should have been doing a long time ago. No American boots on the ground, but carve out a safe area, a no-fly zone where they can train, equip, organize their own Benghazi, as they had in Libya, and then make sure that the weapons go to the right people, set up a government, and try to reduce and eventually eliminate this incredibly alarming influx of jihadists from all over the Arab world and other parts of the world. I've talked to a couple of countries that are allies of ours where people are going into Syria and counter that. Otherwise, we're going to have a complicated mess on our hands for years to come.
You have asked that we arm the rebels. Are we not covertly doing that now? I think a lot of people are suspicious that we have been covertly arming the rebels in Syria. Is that not true?
No, we're not. There is weapons coming in from other countries.
From us at all? Any weapons from us?
No. We are having some trying, but not succeeding, in channeling some of those weapons to the right people.
Channeling through other countries?
Other countries are sending the weapons. We have people on the ground, supposedly, that are channeling it, hopefully, to the right people. They're not succeeding in doing that because the jihadists are getting weapons in ample supply. It's the absence of American leadership. It's an absence. Why should they pay attention to the Americans that are fighting Bashar Assad? We're not helping them. A woman in a refugee camp said to me, she said, "Senator, see these children? See these children? They're going to take revenge on those people who failed to help them. We're raising a generation of people who hate America because we wouldn't help them." But the fact is that if we get them the no-fly zone, a place to organize, train, and equip, that's the best way to keep it from coming to these jihadists. And to rely on Russia, I mean, how many times do we have to hear that story?
Well, why, if the president said this is the red line, this is a game changer if there are chemical weapons, the only reason he wouldn't do something now is if he thought there wasn't conclusive proof, unless he changed his mind, right?
Right, but you've got to carefully look at the statement that's made, and they're saying that they need further corroboration and authentication. They've got to be sure, they've got to look at the evidence. Well, the British say, we have limited but persuasive information.
Why would the president put the brakes on and be more cautious?
Why has the president refused to help these people for over 2 years?
Why?
Well, one of the things, as I said, that if we intervened, jihadists might enter in, Bashar Assad might escalate, the Iranians might get involved, it might destabilize Jordan and Libya. Guess what? All of those things that they said would happen if we intervened have happened because we didn't intervene.
Senator, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Greta.
Nice to talk to you.